today's episode of the Balancing Hormones Naturally podcast, where we offer actions and steps you can take today to start supporting and balancing your hormones. This is your podcast host, Leah Brueggemann. I am honored and excited to be your guide on your way to better understanding your hormone health and how it affects your everyday life. Hey ladies, welcome back for another episode. I thought that the best thing that I could share with you today is encouragement, hope, and the stories of some wonderful ladies that have been where you are and are on the other side now and truly just thriving with their hormones, because you really can too. So I took some interviews from some past clients from a Facebook group that have worked with me or gone through the hormone reset program, and I stuck them in here. So the audio may not be the most amazing, but the stories truly are. So I would love for you to listen to them, ask me any questions, ask them any questions, because it's really amazing to hear their transformation of where they've been. And they've put in this hard work to truly understand what's going on with their body. And the transformations are just epic. So I wanted to share that with you. So enjoy and bear with me on the audio. I brought on Jessica to chat with you. So if anyone's been in this group before, you know that every round of the program, I bring in a bunch of different past clients so that you can hear from them, because I've never met such amazing people that go through our programs. And I love the community that we attract. And I want you to hear from actual members. You know, I can tell you all about the program and all about the results, but I want you to hear from every single one of the ladies, so you can really resonate with that. And I promise I didn't pay her. I mean, she might show me how to keep my plants alive, but I didn't pay her. Okay, so this is Jessica, and she went through our most recent round of the hormone reset, and she has PCOS. So I know a lot of you can relate to that. So if you don't mind, could you share a little bit about where you were health-wise, when you kind of came across the program?
Yeah, first I want to say welcome, guys. I am so excited for you guys. I wish I could follow every single one of your journeys because it's just life-changing. So I hope you guys are excited as I am for you. I want to say like 2 years ago, my birth control expired, and I had been diagnosed with PCOS like 7 years ago, but I was on birth control. So I was like, it's not really a big deal. I'm not really feeling anything. And my birth control expired, and I didn't necessarily realize and put two and two together. And it was last year around October when things like really took a turn for me, and I was gaining weight so fast from like when, and I thought it was quarantine weight, but like from when quarantine started up until like later in that year, I'd probably put on almost like 50 pounds in probably about a year. And no matter what I was doing, it wasn't coming off. I felt like it just kept going more and more. My hair started thinning really bad, to the extreme. All of the PCOS symptoms I could possibly have. I was dead tired. I was depressed. I was anxious. I couldn't do anything about it. Working out sucked. There was just so many factors that played into why I decided to do this, but I just really hit rock bottom with my PCOS, and I had no idea how to fix it. Like, what's going on really, other than I was about to get on phentermine. I had been on phentermine before. It is great in a sense that it gives you energy and it gives you no appetite, but that's also like you have no appetite. I'd have to like force myself to eat because I never wanted to eat, and that's their alternative. And I didn't want to go back on birth control, so I had to figure out another way to make this work and figure out what was going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I totally get that. So, what was your experience kind of like going through a program, like going through it? Like, what, I know you had so many wins along the way, but like, what was your experience like mentally, physically going through it?
I think I'm kind of like I give it my all and I'm like, I am gonna go gung ho and I'm not gonna do anything Leah doesn't tell me I'm supposed to be doing. And I kind of had that mentality, but my experience was like it's a roller coaster. I mean, it really is. Like, you're like this and that is your journey. You have days where I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't felt good in so long. This feels so great. And then I had something that had hidden gluten in it, and I was back to that feeling of like, oh my gosh. And sometimes you hit those moments and it makes you like not want, like, sometimes like when I hit those moments and I'm having a bad day and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to let a bad day turn into a bad week. And it's okay. I'll bounce back next week and I'll start back on Monday. Or I had a really bad workout yesterday, so I'm not going to work out today, which turns into the next day after that. And I kind of had to retrain my brain a lot of the time for this program, because if I'm being honest, a big part of me going into this was like, I'm going to lose weight. I'm excited to lose weight. This is what's going to happen for me. And that wasn't the case for my journey. I did lose probably 8 pounds during that journey, but it wasn't quick. It was at the very end of this program, which is what
We
Leah
also
will
like
tell
made
you.
you
Like, that is the last
stop
thing to
weighing
go. And
yourself.
that was
Yeah.
extremely frustrating with me. So, like,
Oh,
what'd you
sorry.
say? You're frozen.
Oh no, I think there's a delay for you. No, I said we told you to stop weighing yourself. We took your scale away. We were like, you can't have it. Let me
No.
reload you really quick though. What did I just say about tech issues? We literally just had this conversation. Okay, I'm gonna have to boot you off
There you
and
are. You're back.
oh, never mind, it worked. Okay. People can just listen to my
I think
rambling
we're
like
back.
while I was frozen. Okay. We made you stop weighing yourself. We stole your scale,
Yes,
you know?
Caitlin, I told her I was so frustrated. I was like, Caitlin, it's not moving. Like, I can't. She's like, all right, send me a video. Go put your scale under your bed or hide it or do whatever you have to do and leave it alone. Um, so I did that and I didn't weigh myself. And I think I waited probably till the last 2 weeks, I think, is when I finally weighed
Yeah.
myself and I was down 8 pounds. And
Okay,
it
which
truly is the last thing to go.
this I want to like rephrase that thought pattern for you though, because like it had been 8 weeks at that point. 8 weeks and you
Right.
lost 8 pounds. That's a pound a week. Like that's actually really,
True.
really amazing. Um,
Yeah.
when you think about that, it's just that we also had to drop a lot of inflammation for you in particular,
Mhm.
before that was reflected in your weight. But um, you're one of my favorite people to talk about because you fought me on this with the weight for so long. And I'm
I
like,
did.
stay consistent. We have to get your period
Yeah.
back. And you're like, no,
Right.
I need to lose the weight.
Like,
And
yes.
um, you got your period back, and then the weight followed. And
Yeah.
there's no coincidence there, of course. So you hadn't had your period, I think you said in 5 years or
5
24.
years. I spotted. It was terrible. It was random. I never knew when it was going to come. And I knew that wasn't right. But it had been from being on birth control and then getting off of it. It was a long time.
Yeah. And so what was it like getting your first period back?
It was painful,
Yeah,
which I'm
I
still
remember that.
working on. But I think I was just so like, this is such a blessing to my body right now that this is happening. And I worked hard for this to happen. Like, I put in, and just to see that happen and be like, I put in so much work and everything I did, everything I put in my body, all the like everything like came to fruition and showed me like, you're on the right track because here's your period. You're welcome. And it was I cried actually, and my boyfriend got me period flowers and said like,
Ah,
"Congratulations, you got your period back."
that
But
makes
it
me so
was,
happy.
I'm about to have my third period, and the second one wasn't as bad as the first, so I'm hoping the third will follow suit, and that's really exciting.
And you're regularly ovulating, and
Yes.
I like can't imprint upon people like how incredible this is that like because I see women with PCOS will randomly get a period like every couple years, but like we got your period back and you
Yeah.
kept it. Like you've been
Yeah.
regularly ovulating.
Right.
Um, which is insane, which is
It's
insane.
And I wasn't even expecting that coming into this program. There's no way I thought that that was going to happen on top of ovulating in this group. It just didn't, like, that's so many things, Leah. Like, I am going to lose weight, you know, I'm going to
You
get my
are
period,
losing
right?
weight.
And all of these things. And just to get that back and see all of these changes happening. And even if I have like a bad day, I always will be on this journey for the rest of my life. I mean, I learn new things every day. I'm still doing the same things, and that's never going to change because I want to have kids one day. And I have so many goals that, like, this group changed my life. And I'm not just like a freak fan. This like group really made it gave me my life back, and it's just so exciting to be able to share that with you, and like you guys are doing this too, and it's just amazing.
Oh my gosh. I remember the day you got your period back. I think we all screamed for you.
uh,
Which was awesome. And then on top of that, I know you've gotten rid of headaches, you've quit
yes,
smoking.
I quit
Um,
smoking.
like there's so many wins for you. Like you have energy. I especially love when you were like, wait, is this what I'm supposed to feel like? I'm supposed to have energy? What is
I
this?
was like, whoa, I had too much caffeine, but I really just felt great and happy like all day. My body was happy, my head was happy, like everything was just flowing the way it should be. And I had no idea what that felt like because it had been so long.
And you were the best
You're
girl.
frozen.
Oh no. Remind me to never ever say that tech is
Okay, you're back.
working for me. Ever. Jinxed myself. Ugh. Okay. So, where was I going with that? Oh, you were the best hype woman. You were literally the best hype woman for every lady in the program.
Oh,
That. Um,
I
so
loved every single one. I felt like a weirdo being like, I'm gonna love everything, but I love all of this, you know?
and I loved how much you embraced that journey. So it was really important.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So walk me through the mental part of investing in an online program. Like scary? Like what was it like? What made you kind of take the plunge? Walk me through.
Yeah. Um, it was like it was like actually the week of your free 3-day challenge. And
Hmm.
I was good friends with Caitlin at the time. And I had just gotten home from the doctor. I got my birth control out that had actually been expired for 2 years, and I had no idea. And he was like, okay, come back and we'll get you put on phentermine, and you just need to lose weight and everything will go back to normal. And I was like, no, this isn't normal. And I briefly mentioned PCOS. And then I had a talk with Kaylin. I'm like, this isn't right. Like what he's telling me isn't right. I don't want to do this. I like don't want to get on back on birth control. And she's like, you need to join. She like confirmed my diagnosis for PCOS and talked me through it. And I was like, oh my God, that's what's been happening to me. And she's like, you have to join for the 3-day challenge. I joined, and I'm like sitting there taking all my notes, and I'm like, this isn't even half of it. I have so much more to learn. And I just felt, it's going to sound cheesy, but I really felt like called to that program. Like this, I've seen Caitlin's stories posting about this program for almost like 2 years, a year now, however long you guys have been doing this. I'm like, I don't need that because I don't even have a period. So
Yeah.
how can I join a group for painful periods when I don't have one? You know?
Yeah.
And that free 3-day challenge changed my world. And I joined that group, and the mental aspect of all of this is I was like, oh my gosh, this is all of these things are going to happen. And they're just like, sometimes like you join these things and you're like, okay, it's just gonna happen. But like
Mm-hmm.
it was cooking at late at night when I don't feel like cooking. It was making good decisions when I was going out with friends. It was pushing myself to do those workouts when Caitlin will kill you, ladies. I'm just letting you know.
In a good
They're
way.
not, but they're so great. They're great workouts.
So hard.
But just constantly yes. I learned what Renegade Rose were after, and you had been talking about them. I was like, oh my gosh, that's why Leah doesn't like them because they are terrible. Um, but it was, you're frozen again, but I'm going to keep talking.
Yeah. Keep
Um,
talking.
Making those efforts every single day. Like every day you have to make the active decision. I made this little board on my fridge that said like, good morning. You need to have this, this, and this first thing. Make sure you're eating before 7:30. There's so many parts that are moving and going on. You're getting your seeds and you're doing this. And like, it can be overwhelming at days because you're like, it's so much. But eventually that like switch clicks and it's just your day to day. It's your routine. It's like, okay, your mental head goes off and you're like, okay, I just woke up. I need to take my temperature. Let me get some lemon juice with like some lemon water. Let me get my like breakfast in before 8:30 hits because I need to eat before it's too late and my blood sugar gets crazy.
Yeah.
And you're still going to have days where you miss things and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I should have done that today. But the biggest thing for me is I beat myself up constantly. I'm always like, I should have done this. I shouldn't have done that. I made this bad decision. But like those bad decisions, you're not going to lose all of your progress because of one bad decision. And that's not a reason to give up or beat yourself up because that does nothing. And at the end of the day, you're still here putting in this work with Leah and using all of the tools that she gave you. And it's truly incredible what each and every one of you had to have decided to do for yourself because you're giving yourself a gift is how I saw it. And I was like, this is a gift in my life. And I'm going to do everything I can to stay on track because the results are there and they're very real. If you struggle with anything like I did, you will feel the same if you put in the work. And that's the biggest thing is like showing up, not for Leah, not for Caitlin or whoever you might be doing this for. It's showing up for yourself every single day. And I kind of learned to like love myself more through this process. And I'm not doing it for anyone anymore. Like I was like, I want to make my mom proud. I want to be thinner for my boyfriend. I want to, look better and things like that. And it's just, I did this for me and I worked and showed up every day for me. And you have to find, Leah talks about finding your why, and your why should solely be like, I'm doing this because I want to for myself and I need this, That was so much.
You're just like gonna make me cry. So you're amazing. And you're right. You do have to do it for you. And there's a lot of lifestyle shifts for some people. Like for some people, like who was it? I think it was Teresa. And she was like, hey, I'm coming from a place where like I buy fast food as I'm heading to work, drinking my cup of coffee that now has 20
Right.
other cups that go along with it. And for some
Yes.
ladies, that was a really, really, really big lifestyle shift. And so that's why we're there to support you and explain why and
Yeah.
walk you through step by step. Because I think if you don't understand why you're doing something and you don't have the support, like why would you stick to it? Like there's no point. Um, okay,
Right.
so before we move into our last question, if you guys have any questions, like drop them below. I can see them. Jessica can't see them, but I can see them, so I will relay them to her so I can see. Let me know if you guys have questions. And then, so my last question for you is, what do you say to somebody who's on the fence? They're like, okay, I need this. I want this, but like I'm scared to make this investment. Like I'm not sure, like, is it for me? And they're just scared. Like what would you say to that woman?
How I see this program is that you can't put a price on how you feel once you come out of it. All of these products that you will end up using, I still use every single day. There's a couple I don't necessarily need anymore, but they're part of my everyday life now, and they are for a reason. And I think if you have any of these symptoms that Leah talks about when she talks about, like, here are all these reasons why you should join, they're like, this isn't, I mean, I'm trying to get this out, but like, all of these things that you teach us and that we learned should have been taught so long ago. Whether you have PCOS, whether you don't have a period, whether you have painful periods, I feel like this is how every woman should be living their life in a sense, because at the end of the day, we have so much like going on in our body that we need to balance our hormones. It's This program isn't a quick 30-day fix. It's not a, oh, I'm going to do this for 30 days and everything's going to go back to normal. Like, it's a lifestyle and you will not regret it. I mean, at the end of the day, like, how you're feeling and how you're living your life when you're done with this is just incredible. And no money can, like, you will spend way more money on any type of other quick fixes or this quick smoothie drink for 30 days or anything like that than getting results that you get from this program. And Leah has great payment plans. I'm not super well financially off, and I found a way to make it work because I knew this would change my life. And I knew that it was worth it. And if you're scared, if you're nervous, if you're worried about if you're going to fail, that is not going to happen. I mean, it's not in the cards for you in this group because there's so much support. Like, even if Leah wasn't there to answer questions immediately, every single girl that you will make friends with in this group was. So on the weekends when I'm like, oh my gosh, should I eat this? How's this meal? And I have girls being like, I don't think you should do that, or like things like that. And we all boost each other up constantly. And it's this one big happy community where I still keep in touch with everyone from my group and watch their stories and like how they're doing. And you have so much support, all the tools, all the videos, everything that could possibly make you successful. And you can't let the bad days bring you down. You can't let your anxiety bring you down, because I was anxious. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a huge step. I'm putting money into this. I'm ordering all of these supplements. I am going for it. And what if I don't get what I want out of this? And you quickly learn that this program is around for a reason, and you will thrive before and after the program. Very true. And I hope you all join and have such successful, beautiful journeys, because this program gave me my life back. And I cannot say that enough.
Remember what I said about how amazing this community is? Ugh, I truly, truly mean that. The next wonderful person I'm going to have you hear from is Christa, and she went through a couple rounds ago. And I wish I could share every single person's story on here, but it would probably make for a really long podcast. So I can only share a couple.
So I want to introduce you all to Christa. She went through my last round as a VIP. So the difference between group and VIP is VIPs get a little bit more access to Caitlin and I. They get some one-on-one calls, and they also get a couple weeks of Voxer, which is voice messaging support, to personalize it and kind of help them walk through it a little bit more step by step, just because, we have lots of questions. So Christa, I would love for you to share where you were before this program. Like, what made you reach out and be like, I need some help?
So I guess like 10 years ago, like when I had my third baby, I noticed some symptoms of like anxiety and depression. And then as the years went on, it just kept getting worse. And then I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism 7 years ago.
Okay.
And I got pregnant, my 7th pregnancy, which was my most recent one. It was bad. I was miserable. Like I had a migraine basically the whole 9 months. So it's just like a nonstop migraine. The ones where I was puking and so dizzy I couldn't stand, I couldn't drive. And it was just miserable. And so after I had the baby, well, I've had postpartum depression with after all my babies, and they've all been very colicky. And so I kind of just attributed it to having a colicky baby and just like, this just must be what motherhood is, you know? And so after this last pregnancy, my migraines were horrible. I was constantly like in a brain fog. I had horrible mood swings, and the anxiety and depression were like through the roof. Like I felt like I couldn't control my emotions, and I was just constantly sad, and I didn't want to take care of my family. I didn't want to hang out with my friends. I didn't want to see anyone. Like I just wanted to curl up in a ball and cry and just never see anyone again.
Which is hard because you have 7 kids.
Yeah, I have 7 kids. And I mean, I did it because I had to, but it took every ounce of willpower that I had in me to do it, to get up in the morning, whatever. So, and I also could not lose any weight, which I kind of just attributed to hypothyroidism. I was just like, well, I have thyroid problems. So like I ate what I thought was healthy. I exercised, and I didn't really gain any weight my last pregnancy because I was so sick and I was so nauseous from the migraines I couldn't eat. But I put on more weight after I was pregnant, after I had the baby. So I was 10 pounds, like a year after I had him, I was 10 pounds over what I was when I had him. And so I always had these symptoms, but before ovulation and around my period, they were just like, especially around my period, they're like 10 times worse. Like it was just really bad. And I had
the first time I talked to you, you were like, I have so much brain fog. You were like, I'm going to tell you my symptoms, but like so much brain fog. Yeah.
I was just like, what am I saying? I don't know what I'm saying. And that's how I was all the time. And just like, I had horrible pain everywhere. Like my pelvis felt like it was being torn, like ripped off of me. And I bled a lot. And
it's just like, you were super tired all the time. Like, yeah. I had someone message me today and they're like, is being tired all the time a hormonal issue? I was like, yes, yes, it is. So what, I guess this is a good one. So I know you saw Bridget posted about her story, because we'll share her testimony later as well. But what made you trust a stranger on the internet that you've never met before to walk you through a journey, especially making an investment, like a big investment into your health? Like, what made you be like, okay, I can do this. Like, I need to see these results.
Well, I guess, I trusted Bridget. Like, I trusted her opinion. So I called her first and she was telling me about it. And I was like, okay, this all makes sense to me. Like, I don't believe in any of those fad diets or any of that stuff. And what you were saying, like about the way we need to eat and balance our meals and just like how you have to heal your gut, and just like everything you were saying just made total sense to me. So I was like, okay, I think this lady knows what she's talking about. And then the story that you had told about yourself
Yeah.
Like why you started the program is to help yourself out first. And then to pass that knowledge on to other women so that they too could figure things out for themselves. So
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah. And now we're friends.
yeah.
So okay, so we talked about where you were and then what made you decide to trust and go into the program. So let's talk about your results first. Like, so what was it like going through the program and where are you now?
It was really good. I didn't have so much of a problem with like the elimination diet just because I was used to eating fairly healthy, so it didn't really bother me. And the fact that I already felt so much better a week into the program, I was like, this is so worth it. But my husband noticed a difference like 5 days after I started. He was just like, you're so happy. And I was just like, oh. But like one day I just like looked at him and he was just like looking at me smiling. I was like, what? And he's just like, I haven't seen you this happy in so long. And I was just like, I mean, at first it made me feel bad, but I was just like, sorry. But yeah, I just felt great right away. And well, not right away. Okay. The first week the detox was pretty hard, but
Yeah.
now I haven't had a migraine in 9 weeks. And I had it almost every day before that, every single day almost. So my anxiety is pretty much gone, except for the occasional whatever. I'm a mom, so mom with 7 kids. So and the depression, like I want to do things with my kids now. I want to see my friends and whatever. And another thing, I had constipation problems previously for years, and I don't anymore. And I'm not exhausted all the time. My mood swings are basically non-existent, pretty much. My last 2 periods have been great. Besides taking my temperature and seeing my temperature change, like I would never have known I was getting my period, except that I knew when my period was coming, you know? So yeah, I was just like, oh, I'm getting my period today. And my husband's like, so cool. Okay. You're like, yeah, right. You don't even seem like you are. And I was like, yep, I got my period today. He's like, wow, really? I was just like, yep. And he's like, it's so different. But
it's just so life-changing to be on the other side, because like before, could you even imagine talking to people about this and being like, I feel amazing?
This is like 200% out of my comfort zone. And I'm doing it because like I was like, I want to share this, and I feel passionate about the fact that this is what
we're so glad to have taken you through it. Okay, so you made me tear up. I don't typically have clients make me tear up, but when you messaged me and you were like, I had the energy to go out and play with my kids today, I teared up. I was like, that is why I created this program, because there are so many women out there who go through, like you said, this just must be motherhood. You know, like I have kids, I have no energy, I can't drop the weight, I'm moody. And I have so many women come to me like that. And I used to be before like, this is so cool. We can get rid of painful periods. We can do this. And then it's so much more than that. Like, it's like like Beth said last night, you get to be the girl that your husband started dating again, which means you get to take care of that relationship. And then you get to show up as a mom so much more and get to share that with your daughters, like how they can be healthier. And it's just, this is why I created the program. So what was it like talking to your husband about an investment, like a big investment in your health? Because like I think something that's huge is we don't have like $800, $1,200, whatever the amount is, just like in our bank account going, oh, let's just add this to the budget this month. Like, and nobody has that money just in the budget extra. So how
Yeah.
did that work with you? Like, what was that process of talking to your husband and kind of being like, okay, how does this work?
Well, I was a little scared because I mean, we do have 7 kids. We live on a very tight budget because we have to, because we're a single income family. And he had told me before, he's like, you need to do something to help yourself. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, I don't want to go to doctors and them be like, here, take these medications out for anxiety and depression. I don't want a Band-Aid. I want to fix it. And so I was a little nervous. So I called Bridget and then I called you and I was just like, I have something to talk to you about. And like, you know how you said I need to do something to feel better? He's like, like, well, I think I found something, but it cost a lot. And he's just like, okay. And then I was like, just like rambling and like telling him all about it. He's just like, stop. He's like, do it. And I was just like, what? He's like, do it. He's like, I don't care how much it costs. He's like, I can see that you really believe that this is the answer. He's like, well, move some things around. He's like, we'll figure it out. You know, like move some things around in the budget or whatever. And he's like, well, we'll figure it out. And so yeah.
I think the biggest thing is talking, like sharing with your husband why it's important for you to do this. Because we put up such a tough barrier. Moms are go, go, go. They're give, give, give. And so it's hard for us to be like, I don't feel great. Like I'm moody, like I'm having like these mood swings. And like, yeah, our husbands probably notice, but like it's hard for us to like vocalize that, you know, and not be like, I'm Superwoman and I can do it all. So I think that that's also hard, but like they do want us to feel amazing, you know? And so if we can communicate that to them, I think that's important.
Yeah. So I told him, like, as I was rambling, I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I can't be a mom anymore. Like, I can't. I'm like, the way I'm feeling right now, I'm just like, I can't do it anymore. And I think that really like hit him because he was just like, he's like, do what you need to do. Cause like, I do try to put up I try to act tough and like, oh, I'm fine, you know?
Yeah.
But he's just like, because I really broke down. I was just like, I need to do something. And he's just like, do whatever you need to do. And I know that before I told him about it, like I felt like he felt helpless because he like knew I wasn't doing well, but he didn't know what to do. And I think when I told him about this, he was just like, yes, something that like he felt like by not allowing, but whatever, like letting me do this program, like maybe he was helping me to, that was something he could do to help me. So
and it was just life changing. So I love that. So what would you tell somebody who feels like they're dealing with issues and they're like, they can't really imagine nutrition and food kind of getting them to the other side and not having to take a pill for the rest of their life or having to go on medication, but scared to make an investment in their health? Because when it comes to health, I feel like it's different than a business investment. And, you know, it's not like you're like forking over money to start a business and the money's going to come back to you. Like you're putting this forward into your health, you know? So, and that money comes back to you having energy and more time in your day. So what would you say to someone back in your shoes, kind of who's debating whether or not they should invest in their health?
Well, I guess I would say that in order to take care of your family or whoever, the people around you, you first have to take care of yourself. Like you are the most important person for, like you have to take care of yourself if you want to be able to take care of anyone else. And like you give us the tools or whatever, like
Mhm.
I feel confident that I'm done with the program now, but I feel confident like you have taught us enough to where I feel like I can like go on with it. Like it's sustainable for the rest of my life. So it's not just something that is like a one-time thing and like you're investing in the rest of your life, basically.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's supposed to be the last investment you have to make in
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
So and now I just want to share what you told me when we first got on. So a couple of Christa's food sensitivities were gluten and dairy. And they were some of the big causes for her migraines. And so she has been staying off of them. And I tell everybody that if you do the time healing and supporting your body's detox process during your follicular phase is a time when your digestion is better. You can cycle on and off those food sensitivities. And so Christa decided to go ahead and give that a go. The other day she had some gluten and dairy to celebrate. She was in her follicular phase, but tell me what you told. Tell everybody what you told me.
I felt great afterwards. Like I was expecting a horrible migraine. But I basically just got a little bloated and it was our anniversary, so I decided to celebrate. And so I when I got home, I just drank some lemon water and took some extra greens, and this morning I did like a green shake and I feel great today. I didn't get a migraine and yeah.
What
Very
Christa's
excited.
talking about is liver support. So that's like your detox process. So like I give everybody a plan like for them, we troubleshoot at the end. So let's say like you had alcohol or you had like your blood sugar was too spiked. Like how do you support your body so that it doesn't cause chaos? Because we want something that's sustainable. Like if we were like, oh, you can never have bread and dairy ever again in your entire life. Like I'm sure you would probably all just go eat ice cream or cheese. I feel like it's cheese. It's always cheese. So we really want it to be sustainable.
Okay, so do you understand why I'm so obsessed with my clients? Because obviously they're awesome and they put the work in. And when you put the work in, that's when you can achieve these incredible, amazing results. So the Hormone Reset program is open until through Tuesday evening, and then we won't reopen again until next year. So if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to reach out, and you can find the link to join in the show notes. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Balancing Hormones Naturally. If you found this helpful, I would love for you to share it with a friend and post it on your stories and tag Balancing Hormones Naturally podcast so we can get this message out. You can find me on Instagram at Leah_BRUEG, and I would absolutely love to hear from you.